Good evening. It's Monday, March 16, 2020 here in Cebu City. I'm Cherry Ann Lim, and here's all you need to know in NewsBits tonight. The Department of Health recorded 2 additional coronavirus disease cases, bringing the total number in the country to 142. Senator Juan Miguel Zubiri confirmed that he tested positive for the virus. Malacanang has now placed the entire Luzon under enhanced community quarantine. Here's Chari Coronel for the details.
The Department of Health has recorded 2 new cases of coronavirus disease, bringing the total number of confirmed cases in the country to 142. The DOH says patient 141 and 142 are currently at the Medical City and Regional Epidemiology and Surveillance Unit in the National Capital Region, respectively. The Health Department also reported the first Filipino who recovered from COVID-19. Patient 14 is a 46-year-old male Filipino who had no travel history outside the country. Meanwhile, Senate Majority Leader Juan Miguel Zubiri announced through his Facebook page that he tested positive for COVID-19. Zubiri says he received a call from Health Secretary Francisco Duque confirming the positive result while on self-quarantine. The senator says he is asymptomatic and has no fever, cough, nor weak. He added he will stay locked in isolation for 10 more days until he gets a negative result. Meanwhile, President Rodrigo Duterte has approved the proposal to take extreme measures against COVID-19 and place the entire Luzon under an enhanced community quarantine. During an enhanced community quarantine, residents would be forced to stay at home. Public transportation systems would be suspended, food and health services would be regulated, and more uniformed men would be deployed to implement the quarantine measures. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo says the order will take effect immediately. The government will give allowance to people who will have to go home from their work in Metro Manila. Chari Coronel, NewsBits Tonight.
The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board in Central Visayas has urged public transport operators and drivers to strictly implement social distancing to avoid getting fined. Here's Kenneth Torres for the details.
The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board in Central Visayas has implemented social distancing in all public utility vehicles in the entire region starting today. LTFRB Central Visayas Director Eduardo Montialto Jr. says the number of passengers will be reduced by 50%. Public jeepneys and buses should impose a 1-seat apart policy, while taxis should only have 4 passengers including the driver. Violators will be fined 5,000 pesos for the first offense, 10,000 pesos for the second offense, and 15,000 pesos and suspension of franchise for the third offense. Meanwhile, operation of motorcycle taxis in the entire region will also be suspended starting today. Montialto says they suspended their operation because it will violate the implementation of social distancing. There are 3 accredited motorcycle taxis in Metro Cebu, which are Joyride, Move It, and Angkas. Montialto added if motorcycle taxis defy the order, they may be reported to the Interagency Technical Working Group. The LTFRB will conduct a random inspection to check if social distancing is being observed in public transport. Kenneth Torres, NewsBits Tonight.
More stories in NewsBits Tonight after this short break. Dressed and live chickens from Nueva Ecija will no longer be allowed to enter Cebu City. This after the Department of Agriculture confirmed a bird flu outbreak in Haen, Nueva Ecija. Here's Chari Coronel for the details.
The Cebu City government now bans the entry of dressed and live chickens coming from the area affected by bird flu. The city government has intensified the entry of chickens in the city after the Department of Agriculture confirmed bird flu outbreak in Hain, Nueva Ecija. Some 1,500 quails at a farm in Hain Town tested positive of the avian influenza. Department of Veterinary Medicine and Fisheries Head Jennifer Laurente says they will check the shipping permit, meat inspection certificate, and meat transport vehicle permit for those that will enter the city. Laurente, however, clarified there is no reported case of bird flu in the city yet. The protocol used during the African swine fever outbreak will be implemented with the existence of bird flu outbreak in Nueva Ecija. Since those handling poultry and poultry products, such as veterinarians, caretaker, and poultry and farm owners, are the ones exposed, Laurente advised them to wear personal protective equipment to prevent them from acquiring diseases. A person may develop respiratory problem once infected by the virus. She advised not to touch a dead chicken or bird. Instead, it should be reported to their office and DA. Meanwhile, Cebu Provincial Veterinary Office has intensified its surveillance monitoring on poultry farms in the province. Although the province remains free from avian flu, the public is advised to immediately report to the veterinary office bird deaths in their locality. Charik Ronel, NewsBits Tonight.
As police began strict implementation of quarantine measures in Metro Manila, a man hoping to find a job was arrested after he refused to undergo inspection and instead hit a policeman at a checkpoint in Valenzuela City. Here's 3rd Ann Peralta Malonzo for the details.
The Philippine National Police started on Monday, March 16, the full and strict implementation of checkpoints at the boundaries of Metro Manila, a measure that aims to slow the spread of the coronavirus disease or COVID-19. Artemio Caparaz, 47, tried to enter Metro Manila with his 6-year-old granddaughter. They were intercepted at a checkpoint at the boundary of Bulacan and Valenzuela. Caparaz said the girl had been on vacation at their home in Pampanga and he was bringing her home to her parents in Malabon while he was returning to work in Novaliches. Children and the elderly are supposed to stay at home, along with pregnant women and immunocompromised persons. For humanitarian reasons, Northern Police District Director Ronaldo Ilagan instructed a police mobile to bring Caparaz and his granddaughter home. At the checkpoint in Malanday, Valenzuela, police arrested Jonicio Bonote after he allegedly hit a policeman and refused to undergo inspection. Bonote said he was going to Metro Manila to find a job, but PNP Deputy Chief for Operations Lieutenant General Guillermo Eleazar said Bonote is considered an unauthorized entry. He was brought to the Valenzuela police station and he will be charged with direct assault upon a person in authority and disobedience. Eleazar reiterated, especially to the passengers of mass transportation systems, to observe social distancing. He also reminded those manning the checkpoints to strictly implement the quarantine measures and deny entry to people who are not authorized to enter Metro Manila. Drivers of the utility vehicles have mixed reaction to the quarantine. Some agreed while some complained of the inconvenience caused by the monstrous traffic leading to the checkpoints.
Yung ginagawang ganito ng gobyerno, sir?
Okay lang, para safety lang naman eh.
Ano, sir, ginagawa niyong reminder sa mga pasahero niyo, sir?
Pinadidistansya lang namin sila sa upuan.
Sir, ilan ang pwede niyo lang isakay daw?
23 lang, binibilang lang namin.
23 lang. 23 ngayon yung sakay niyo, sir. Wala pa ba yan saan?
Wala pang 23 ngayon dahil iba nagbabaan na.
Wala yan saan, sir?
Wala sa May Kawayan.
May Kawayan. Papunta kayo saan, sir?
Papunta kaming Alabang.
Ay, nakabot ko ng 2 oras eh.
Paano? Anong okay lang ba sa'yo?
Pag-garayan ako, dyan lang yung garayan ko sa sa ilalim ng tulay. Kaya kasi gagaling ko sa registro eh.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, kung ordinaryong biyahe, okay lang ba sa'yo yung ganito?
Walang kakainin. Gutom.
So, perwisyo ba?
Ang laki ho. Laking perwisyo. Kaya lang pag-garayan na nga lang ako, nabot ka nilang oras. Dyan lang sa ilalim yung garayan namin.
So, hindi ka pabor sa ginagawa niyo?
Pag ganyan ba isang buwan gagawin? Wala. Pag ganyan.
Eleazar, the commander of the Interagency Task Force CV SEAL or COVID SEAL, which consists of the PNP, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Bureau of Fire Protection, and Philippine Coast Guard, appealed for the cooperation and understanding of the public. He said the government is just trying to protect everyone from the virus caused by the COVID-19. Reporting from Manila, 3rd and Peralta Malonzo, Sunstar Philippines.
For the latest in sports, here's Kenneth Torres.
Detroit Pistons forward Christian Wood tested positive for coronavirus disease, bringing the total number of infected NBA players to 3. Wood's diagnosis became known 1 week after he played against the Utah Jazz, spending much of the game with Rudy Gobert, who was the first NBA player who tested positive for coronavirus disease. Utah's Donovan Mitchell has also tested positive for the virus. It cannot be concluded that any of those 3 players were involved in spreading it to one another. The NBA's shutdown, which began Wednesday, came with Wood in the best stretch of his career. He averaged 21.6 points and 9.1 rebounds over a 16-game stretch. Wood also scored his season-high 30 points against the Jazz, topping it 4 nights later with a 32-point effort against Philadelphia 76ers. Kenneth Torres, NewsBits Tonight.
Get the latest, visit www.sunstar.com.ph. Follow us on our YouTube channel and official social media accounts on Twitter and Facebook. I'm Sherry Ann Lim. Good evening.